So I'm just checking in with you guys to see how you guys are doing with the full moon's energies, right? Check out this wand. Hee hee, so pretty. I like the translucency of it. So I still have this wand for sale on my website, www.StariAri333.com. This is the wand of Archangel Raguel. So Raguel is the archangel of it's pretty much like a light blue ray, aquamarine stone, which is right here as well. We have the aquamarine stone located right here in the center. That's a real aquamarine gemstone, and then real aquamarine chips as well. And then we have labradorite around it, and then a real silver. This is real silver wings, angel wings, and this is selenite. Okay, the whole thing is selenite. So again, it's on my website for sale. I already sold the other one, the love one, which was like a pink one. I believe it was rhodolite with selenite, and what else did it have on there? I think it did moonstone or something like that, but that one sold already, so I still have this one. So if you guys are interested, you can purchase it on my website. So let me talk about Raguel. So Raguel helps you with injustices. So for example, if you are having problems with legal fees, money, taxes, anything that other people are taking from you, such as like people that could do without it, you know what I mean, that you actually need, right? So this is the archangel that'll help you with that. If you connect with that archangel and you ask for assistance with your legal fees and with or legal dealings, or dealing with people who are trying to take advantage of you, monetarily speaking, then he will come in and assist you with that. And then he also assists with connecting to Mother Mary, if you believe in, you know, that divine feminine energy, because her energy is aquamarine as well. So he could assist you in connecting in that way with the divine feminine, with the mother energy, okay, nurturer, protector energy. That's what he does, okay? So if you guys are interested in this beautiful wand, see how it's pretty big. I know it looks like I'm like so look at the translucency I wanted to show you guys with the sun out here. It's pretty translucent. So it's pretty awesome, a little selenite wand. So if you guys are interested, it's on my website, www.StariAri333.com. So let's go ahead and see. Hi Mara. Hey, glad you're here so I could pull a card for you. If you guys can, please share this video to whomever so that we can get some free readings going. I'm just going to pull one card for the Star Seeds Club, and then we're going to talk about collective energy or reading for everybody else, okay? Thank you. So how was the full moon for you guys? For me, let me tell you, there's nothing crazy or anything like that happened, but I guess I always feel the energy a few days prior, right? Like 3 days or maybe a week prior. So a week prior, I was feeling really exhausted, like really tired, unmotivated, just mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted, even though I didn't really deal with any difficulties. Just weird. I think I was just tapping into the collective consciousness on that, honestly, because everything is really great, you know, in my personal life as well as in my professional life and things like that. So I was just like, what's wrong with me? Like, why am I feeling extra exhausted? Why am I feeling like overly emotionally drained and mentally drained and physically drained? And then I looked and I was like, oh, of course, because the full moon's coming. Duh, Ari. And then it's an eclipse too. Well, of course, you know. And so that's exactly how I felt. And I was just like, and then after a few days into last week, I believe when we shifted from by the way, if you guys didn't watch my fixed star conjunct video, I suggest that you do. So we shifted from, you know, the sun conjunct algol, and we're shifting into the sun conjunct, which one is it? One of the fixed stars in the Pleiades. Alcyone. So we're shifting energies right now, right? So I was tapping into the divine feminine energy after that exhaustion, because I was like, what's really happening with me, you know? And then I was like, okay, well, that makes sense, you know, that I'm probably tapping in the collective consciousness with the divine feminines involved because of algol. The fixed star algol had a lot to do with that, because of injustices that are happening to the divine feminine as we speak to this day, you know, where there is a lot of things going on politically, as well as a lot of things going on socially, that are definitely taking away our power, you know, our rights, and the way that we feel, how we feel safe as well, you know, like our safety. Well, I was thinking about this in the terms of other countries as well, not just in the United States. I was also looking at like the European Union, and what their laws are regarding, you know, women's choices to do whatever they want, you know, with themselves or medically speaking. And then I was also looking at Mexico, because I felt there's some type of thing there as well that I was picking up on. Unfortunately, in Mexico, there's a lot of stuff going on with women, a lot of abductions happening, a lot of human trafficking happening down there, a lot of drug trafficking, a lot of dangers out there, unfortunately, even more now than before. And so the star algol is the divine feminine in her power, and she is dualistic in nature, meaning that there is beauty and wisdom and nurturance in her, but at the same time there is rage, there is severity, you know, there's the ugly side too. Okay. And so that being said, I was looking, okay, this is a beautiful side of women, and then this is the ugly side that happens because of the circumstances in our society that are way out of our control, you know. And so I also saw it play out in like people observing people's behaviors, you know, the divine feminine, even if it's found within a man, observing their behavior towards another divine feminine, another feminine energy. Are you taking away their power? Are you compromising their, you know, their identity as well, you know, like who is doing what, you know? And so there's just a lot of a lot of energy that's being distorted, right? There's a lot of energy that's being taken. There's a lot of people who are feeling hopeless and powerless as divine feminines, physically speaking, meaning being born a woman, you know, because of what's going on now. Well, what's been going on for centuries, but I feel like we're definitely being bombarded with that energy due to this full moon in Scorpio. We were definitely being bombarded to do the healing work for the centuries past of maltreatment to women, you know. And so that's what I tapped into. And so that star algol definitely showed me that, because when you think about the story of the star algol and what it was labeled as in the ancient world, and we think about how society was back then, it still kind of is around, you know, certain countries, it still kind of is like that, you know. Men were the dominant men were the dominant in philosophy, in science, in astronomy, in astrology. It was all men. You know, if there were women who contributed to this stuff, they weren't really heard, or they weren't really at the forefront. They weren't really popular opinions. It was men who had these opinions, right? So the same thing with the storytellers, with the ancient mythologies, right? The high majority were men, like Homer, you know, and you know, all these other philosophers and mathematicians who had this different point of view of women. And yes, there's some that try to make it seem like, yes, there's some women who are equal to men. That's great. But a lot of the stories made it seem like they were victim blaming, right? Like the one with Medusa, and Algol is the representative of Medusa, right? Where she was blamed for being a beautiful woman who was chastised, who was serving a goddess, right? And some fucking creeper who was a god too decided that because he's a god and he could fucking do whatever the hell he wanted, he took her and raped her in you know, in the temples of Athena or whatever. And so Athena blamed her for that incident. So to me, I see that happening now with the energy where we are being told we have to heal this generational issues within our families with that type of mentality too, like blaming the victim mentality, right? I have the same thing that happened in recent generations in my family where unfortunately there were some victims who were abducted and who were, you know, mistreated and who were raped, you know, and that's in recent generations, you know. And so to me, I feel that that's a lot going on in that sense of healing the feminine, the divine feminine, in that way, where we have to confront this issue, right? So that's why I felt all of that. And then a few days before the eclipse or full moon, I felt super energized to the point that I wasn't sleeping. I was like, what is going on? You know, I felt like, oh my God, like I feel like so fucking like energized. And I was just like looking around like, what is going on? So I had like, I started working out even harder to see if I could exhaust myself with too much energy being ramped up and stuff. And when I did my ceremony or whatever for the full moon, I came outside and it was like midnight. Not, well, no, it's not midnight. It was like 11 o'clock because that was about where the eclipse started. So I came outside and connected with the particularly with the fairy realm, because they were very active in all of my recordings. They're very active lately. And they had a message because they kept interrupting my recordings for this week's fixed stars. And I was like, okay, I'll tell them, you know. And so they're like trying to have people really work with the earth mother energy, really work with the elemental energies, because there is a great healing that's happening for the feminine, and the earth mother is a feminine aspect as well. So that's why they're like insisting, let's work together, you know. And so last when I did that, I put my moon water out, I put my offerings out, and I asked the fairies what kind of offerings they wanted, of course, and they told me exactly what they wanted. And then I was out here and I was doing my ceremony, and all of a sudden I hear an auditory, like, I still don't understand what kind of language this is. But it was a masculine voice, and it was like right in front of me. Like if you see my backyard, it's kind of like almost an acre. So there's some trees all the way in the back. Let me show you guys so you guys know what the hell I'm talking about. So anyway, so here's my deck, and this is my house right here, and then this is my backyard. Okay, and there's like these far away trees all the way back there, right? So that's where I heard the voice coming, and it felt like a presence moving towards like the deck where I'm at right here. This is my deck, and that's where I was doing my ceremony, and I'm like, hey, you better stop, because I was like getting nervous. I'm like, you better calm down and not interrupt me, you know. And but yeah, so like right here, this is the yards a lot, and then over here is the tree line. That's like the a little bit after the tree line, that's where the property line is. So it's about almost an acre lot. So it was kind of, I was getting kind of nervous. So I was like, hey, you need to like back off, you know. So I was hearing these whispers, right, and it was a masculine voice, and I couldn't understand it. And then I was like, okay, all right, I'm just gonna, you know, shield or whatever, and not shield myself, but shield, like remove any negative energy that is trying to interfere with my concentrating on the ritual. And so it didn't stop because it wasn't a negative presence. I just felt nervous. So it was my nervousness because it's pitch black out here, you know, when I don't have any lights on. So it's pitch black in there. You can't see beyond this pole right here. You can't see beyond that. It's so dark. All right. And so anyway, I've felt this presence before when I've done rituals before. I've felt it before. And I've also witnessed kind of like shifting in like in the wooded areas, like the woods shift a little bit, like it's as if it's like there's some camouflage thing moving through there. And I'm always asking like, like this time I really had to ask, who is it, you know? And then I heard the fairies kind of giggling, and I'm like, okay, if they're giggling, that means it's someone they know, you know. And so then I saw my cats, because they never really bother me when I do these things outside, and I saw my cats looking out the window like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know? And then they're near my my door, and I was just like, it's okay, we're fine, you know, and I'm just gonna finish, I'm gonna wrap this up. And so I finished and wrapped it up, and then I went inside, and then I asked one of my guides, because one of my guides was like really like very present, like I saw this big blue orb, and I'm like, okay, who was that? And then this guide alluded to one of the divine creatures of the forest, and I'm like, was it a fairy? And then they're like, no. And I'm like, huh. And they're like, yeah, it's like when you think about the name. He's like, think about the name where you live, think about the name. And I'm like, oh my God, it's connected to England. So when we have ley lines that are crossing, where I live is connected to the ley line that is near England in the actually Caledonian forest, and this is called Caledonia, the little town. So it's a connection there, and then the connection to England is like, what is their ancient god out there that is of the forest, you know? And then I was like, oh, okay, they believe in Pan, they believe in Serenus or whatever, and then they also believe in Merlin being an aspect of this, you know, as well. So I'm like, I was like, it wasn't Merlin though, like it wasn't at Merlin energy, it was very very masculine, and that's why I felt kind of like, what the fuck. So yeah, so I was like, that's interesting. So yeah, so that's what happened during the ritual. I was like, okay, back off. But yeah, it was just, the energy was just telling me it's there, you know. And so I was like, okay. So later on I'll have to connect again and work with that energy later on. I'm sure it has a message and stuff like that. But the fairies were just messing with me, like giggling at me and like making fun of me pretty much, that I got all nervous. All right. Yeah. Oh, you felt the other energies early too? Yeah. You too, Nancy? Oh, wow, Mitchie. Yeah. Mara, you felt a bit confused, exhausted too, but was too busy running all over the place to think about it. That's funny. Blue Flame says, that's my life. I feel exhausted with it. Yeah. You're welcome, Hades. Yeah, I think it was. Mara is like some being that is a part of the forest. So the green, like people call it the green man, right? Because I was like, I couldn't understand what it like he was saying to me. Like it was a different dialect. Like I sometimes when Merlin comes around, he speaks English to me. He speaks English to me. This one was not like at all close to that, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're saying. So I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna connect with you later. Right now I'm doing this ritual. So yeah, if you see, like, are you guys seeing how like my phone is warping my face? I don't know if you guys are noticing this, but I am. Like, because I feel the presence again right here. So it's like observing, you know, what I'm doing. So it's okay. I'm a safe space. You know, I'm safe. I love animals. I love the forest. I actually want to plant more trees in the backyard, you know. But yeah, so it's observing right now, so I could see, or I could feel it watching me. But it's okay. Talking tree of the Lord of the Rings. It probably is. I've talked to the trees back there before. You know, I've meditated with them over there, and they've been really, like, that's where I felt initially the presence of that masculine energy. When I barely moved here, when I went to greet the trees, because every time I move somewhere, I greet the trees that this is their land, this is their home, right? So I go greet the trees. So there, I have two trees in the front yard, and then I have the oak trees and pine trees in the backyard, and I go greet them. And what's funny is that the trees, there's three oak trees and one pine tree, and they're at four spots, the four directions exactly. And I'm just like, who planted you like this, you know? And then the tree line in the back is like in the back, right? You know, like just the tree line. So there's four trees in the backyard who are right next to each other, the four directions. So my fiance was like, we got to put a bonfire in the middle of these trees so you just do your rituals and stuff like that there, you know? And I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. So yeah, so they're right there, and so I always go talk to them and stuff like that and see how they're doing. And then yeah, so that's when I went to the tree line, that's when I felt that energy, like all the way to the tree line. I'm like, who are you? Silver bar. The tree. All right. So anyway, that was my insight to this full moon's activity going on. And I'm like, you know, I usually don't have that much auditory senses. Like it really doesn't happen it's like rare for me to have auditory messages, right? I usually have like I see them, right? Like I see you, you're watching me, you know, or I sense an energy. But auditory is very rare. And so when it was like there, and I was like it was speaking, and I'm like, oh hey, it's so dark, I can't see you. So I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, so it was pretty amazing. And you know, it's funny because my sister has the auditory stuff, and she's had it since we were little. And she's always complained about it, right? Like how it shocks her because she gets scared, you know, like because somebody's talking to her and she can't see who that is. And she just freaks out, you know, and she's like, oh my God, what is that? And then she tells me to go look for whatever that is, right? And so I see like shadows or something moving about, or I even see orbs, and I'm just like, hey, look, it's an orb, you know. Let her know what it is. But yeah, she so now I know how she feels about that. It's kind of like when you're not ready for it, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, what the fuck? Like, who's talking to me? Okay, Mara, I'm gonna go ahead and put a card for you from the fairy deck. I have the fairies like saying, hurry up, you talk too much. Ooh. All right, so we have ask for help for you, Mara. So this could be that you're actually doing a lot of work for other people. Maybe you're doing a lot of favors for people. Maybe you have a lot on your plate, and then people are asking you for more assistance. And it does feel like you need assistance in a spiritual way as well as in a physical way. It does feel like you've been overly tired, overly tested with your patience. So this card is kind of asking you to ask for assistance, and look at the so it's not just a fairy. So the fairy is right here, right? But it's also the angels. So you ask for angelic assistance as well as fairy assistance. That's what the card represents. Is you're asking for celestial as well as earth, okay, elemental assistance, okay? So they said it has to happen because in order for you to come back to center or come back to feeling yourself again, you have to ask for help, okay? And if there's nobody around in your family or in your life that can assist you with certain tasks and things like that, don't worry, because they're gonna not that they're gonna force anybody, but they're gonna find someone for you so that they could assist you. Like they're gonna whisper, like try to, like, hey, she needs help, you know. But yeah, so that's what they're saying. Ask for it and you shall receive. Okay, so it's ask, you shall receive, especially right now, because we still have the effects of the full moon, right, and the eclipse. So if you are dealing with difficulties of being in your power, and especially, and just making sure that people understand that you may be helpful, but you're not a doormat, right? So that's what the energy is. It's like you have to ask for help. You got to be like, you know what, angels, fairies, please assist me with helping these people see that I'm not a doormat. Yes, I'll help them, I'll assist them as much as I can, but they need to do the same in return. You know, there has to be a two-way road type of relationship, not just you give and give and give, and when you do ask for assistance, no one's to be found, right? So that's what they want you to know. Okay, all right. Hi, Ruby. Okay. Oh, and I did want to say that on Thursday, I'm going to be going live with Marcy from Mystical Illuminations channel to just have some conversations, some spiritual conversations. Going to talk about ourselves, our journey, and things like that. And if you guys are interested, come join us at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on the Mystical Illuminations channel. We're going to actually provide some readings as well. So like 1 card reading and then a 3 card spread, you know, if you guys are interested as well. So yeah, that's going to be fun. All right. Mara says, I will do that. Simply ask for help. It is accurate to the T. My big sis told me that too, and we talked about it because I was wondering what was wrong with me. Oh, there you go. See, she can help you too. She's obviously helping you right now by leading you to understand what's happening, right? She's helping you understand that type of relationship is no longer serving a purpose for you and your life, right? It's time for changes to happen. It's time for you to you know, in so many ways, like, you don't be burdened by the burdens of others, right? So like that's what it is. It's like you're being tossed all this stuff that other people can handle or should be handling themselves. They can handle it themselves, but they're unwilling to do it because they have you to give it to, right? Like they're like, I could just give it to Mara, it's gonna be fine, you know, like she'll take care of it. So yeah, so you gotta make sure that you hold people accountable. Sorry, that's loud because there's like these motorcycles and these cars that are driving like crazy people because they think it's sunny out. I could be obnoxious now. Oh my god. All right, so hopefully that helps me. So next one we're gonna do is Michi. I'm gonna pull a card for you, Michi. Let's see. Magical gateway. Ho ho! So you step through a magical gateway this full moon, okay? There's a lot of things that happen before that, of course, but it feels like you're making the proper changes to change your life circumstances, as well as to venture into unknown territory with your soul, as well as with, you know, working in a spiritual sense of the thing, right? So they're showing you kind of like you broke through you broke through any boundaries or barriers that you've had connected to who you are, your role here, as well as your connections to other people. It feels like a lot of the things that were holding you back had a lot to do with self-confidence as well as distractions. So I like they're showing like the distractions being other people, right? You're kind of similar to Mara, where you're like trying to do the work that you want to do for yourself with self-growth and things like that, and all of a sudden someone knocks on your door. I need your help. I need some help. I need some assistance. Please help me with this. Blah, 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 you know, and then you're just like, you know, like you're like trying to meditate, and all of a sudden, hey, I need your help. So they're saying now it's definitely open, like the gateway is open for you to step in. You probably already stepped in already and felt the shifting, but it's about looking forward in time now, okay, and about seeing how things are going to play out for the better, and feeling and trusting that it is, things are going to change for the better for you as well. I think this full moon has assisted a lot of people with that, because there's a lot of problems. Again, remember, it's the divine feminine energy, right? We want to help whoever we want, you know, like we don't want to be that person that just be like people come for assistance, and then we say, we're sorry, can't help you today, you know, because that's happened to us. And so we have to balance that, though. We can't feel guilt over saying no to someone, or over saying, we'll do this later, okay? Because right now, it's me time, right? You can't feel guilty over doing that, okay? And so that's what this moon is definitely teaching a lot of us about. And so, Michi, that's pretty much what you probably are being taught. It's like, I need to do this for me right now, and I'll talk to you later, okay? We're still gonna talk, but we're gonna talk about it later. Let me see, what is it? Every time I'm like, is it a setup? Wow. Okay, like, was it okay, so yeah, that's what I have for you. Okay, let's see who's next. We'll do Blue Flame next. Okay, Blue Flame, I'm gonna pull a card for you, okay? Let's see. Wisdom with the owl and the fairy owl. Here, let me try to boop, beep, beep. There. So this is like the fairy's like she's wise beyond her years. Even before, you know, she was in her you know, teens. She already knew a lot about the world, and a lot about how things work and things like that, you know. So it's time to call upon your wisdom to deal with situations that are coming in. A lot has been laid out for you to see, like a lot. It's so many, like, what they're saying. It's kind of like there's this big table in front of you, right? And there's like all these different options, like food wise. Like, imagine the food being the fruits of your labor, okay? And then you have people around the table, but there's some chairs that are not filled with people, right? They're empty chairs. And so they're kind of like showing this, like, this opportunity to fill these chairs, but it's only going to happen if they bring something to the table, right? So if they bring like a dish, something that is beneficial to you as well as themselves, then they can sit at your table. It's not just you providing all of it, right? It's, they have to do the work too. And so that's what it is calling upon your wisdom to talk to the people that need to fix it, you know, they need to fix themselves. They need to really see your relationship with them as being beneficial for both parties, that it is important for them to give in return, and not just take, okay? So it's really important for you to tap into that, and to really share that with the people in your life. The people who are already sitting at your table need to have that as well. Even if you think they're okay, like, oh, you're good to go, you still need to emphasize this, okay? Because this full moon is revealing a lot of things that the people at your table have been hiding, okay? And so that's important, so that you have to confront this in the manner of like speaking like, this is what I brought to the table. This is what I've worked my ass off for. What are you doing for me? You know, what are you doing for us? You know, what's the benefit of me having you here eating my food? You know, things like that, okay? It kind of sounds like, oh, it's harsh or whatever. It's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. There's too many people willing to just be like, hey, I'm here for the cookout. Oh, I forgot a dish. Sorry. Sorry. You know. Yeah, so Let's see what she said. I have an owl tattoo on my solar plexus. Yep, that makes a lot of sense. Feeding off my energy. Yeah, exactly. Feeding off your wisdom too, right? So like, for example, if you're having an exchange of advice, right? You're giving someone advice. They're continuously doing the same thing over and over and over again. You're continuously repeating yourself. Oh, I told you this before. You know, things like that. Then you need to be like, you need to sit your ass down and bring something to the table, like a change in attitude or a change in you know, actions. You know, like your actions need to change in order for you to, you know, so that I could respect you. And not feel like you're just using me. You know, these things need to be said, you know. And so that's what listen, speaking of it, I said this to my cats the other day. What are they bringing to my that's messed up. Cats are healers though. Cats actually get rid of like a lot of negative energy. Like depending on the breed too, because my cats have three different types of breeds. The tabby, he gets really anxious and nervous around, like he knows right away if we're mad or we're stressed out. He stays the fuck away from us, you know. And the girl doesn't. The girl, she's a calico. She'll come and sit right on top of us and be like, stop, chill out, you know. Like she brings that energy, like shh, shh, you know, like calm down, you know. Even if we don't want her on us, like we're so stressed out or like angry, we don't want, you know, the cat near us, she'll still fucking be like, I don't give a shit, like I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna tell you what's what, you know. And then the black cat, the same thing. He's the same way. He's very invasive with our space too. And he like was just like, hey, you know, like but our tabby's like, no way, fuck you guys. Fix your shit, fix your fucking energy, and then I'll come around. That's how he is. And he's a Capricorn too. So it makes sense why he's like that, you know. He's like, fuck you guys, fix your shit. I don't have to deal with your shit, you know. He takes off. And then I like when I meditate, or if I'm doing something on the computer, like you know, reading things or recording things like that, he'll come in the room and then he'll like try to get my attention, because he likes my energy when it's flowing, when I'm being creative, right? He'll be like, come love me now, you know, I love you now. He's so funny. Oh, they've been doing bad things. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, when did that start? Because I'm hearing that it started because some other energy is in your house that they're not used to. So they usually, cats, when they act like that is because they don't like something that's going on. Like maybe you had a visitor that came in and then they're like, ugh, fuck you, like you're invading my space, or you're in my territory, you know. Like they usually get like that when they don't like changes that happen. They'll tell you by acting a fool like that, you know. They're mean. Yeah, the calico's a Libra. It's so funny. She's a Libra. And then the black cat's is an Aries, so both of them are like, come on, calm your shit. Like he'll meow at us and she doesn't meow, she just starts to purr to relax us, but he'll be like meow 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 meow, like yelling at us, like shit, calm your ass down, you know. It's funny. But yeah, so yeah, the cats are funny. Like they get really aggravated if changes happen in the house. Like all of a sudden something has changed, or somebody came in, or somebody visited you and they're just like, ew, what the fuck, man, you know. Or they feel like threatened or something like that with somebody's energy, or some type of new dynamic that happened, you know, things like that. Oh, okay. Oh. They don't like it then. You're changing their environment and they don't like it. fucking cats, dude. It's like with dogs will tell you straight out that they don't like something too, you know. So, oh, Ruby, you need a cat or a dog or something. I don't know. I love animals. You could also, there's these things that you could give them, like, to calm them down too. It's not drugs, it's like food. Like certain foods calm them down too. So maybe their pH balance is off as well, and maybe they're having problems with their pH balance, and that fucks up all their shit too. So diet, like their food, you might need to change their food or something, or go to, like, I don't know, something else. I don't know, like they just need something with their emotions. You have 3 of them? Yeah, I have 3 too. Yeah, so yeah, if you were thinking about their food, yeah, their pH balance is off, I think. Has one of them been suffering from crystals, or has had like an incident where when they pee, they start meowing like really bad, like almost howling? Tabbies have that problem. Like, oh my god, tabbies are just the worst when it comes to crystals. Oh, yeah, see? That's probably why. Yeah, that's probably why. So, I changed my tabbies because he was just like that too. We got him when we lived in a haunted house too. So the crystals, like, he didn't have any crazy crystal issues when he was at the shelter. There was no history with that. And then, like, a few months into living with us, he got crystals, and when he was peeing, he was howling. And I felt so bad for him, but he was telling me, like, he was making sure that I understood something was wrong with him, because he would sit down next to me and he won't let me touch him, like, in his belly, because usually he'll let me rub his belly and he wouldn't let me touch him. So I was like, holy shit, something's wrong with him. And sure enough, he was crying so much to the point that I had to take him to an emergency vet. And she said that like, when she pulled out the she checked the his urine, and he had crystals in it, and then she put a catheter in it to pull out the crystals, and she said it was like a snake came out of his urethra, like that, like a snake. And I'm like, oh my god. And she's like, yeah, it was long, it was like a snake, like that. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I told her, I was like, yeah, that was what I was worried about it. But we got him on CD food. So CD stress food, right? So it's for urinary issues and crystals, to reduce the crystal production in their in their bladder. Bald spots too. Oh my gosh, yeah, they're definitely stressed out. Yeah, they're definitely stressed out because of their health issues. So what I would do, I would take them to a vet first to get that food, because there's a prescription. You can get them the soft food and the hard food, because you gotta make sure that they actually have enough water as well in their diet. So you could do hard and soft. That's what I do. I do half and half. And then they should be fine after that. Their coats should go back to normal, and they should be fine with their urine and their bladder issues. But yeah, that's what I had to do, because it got so bad that I had to go take them in. And you know how much I paid for that? It was $3,000. Okay, so don't make it get to that point. Don't let it get to that point. Yeah, so it's the CD. Let me see if I can find it here for you. CD stress food. I think it's from the Science Diet or something like that. Purina Science Diet or something like that. But it's prescription diet food. So you're gonna have to get a prescription from a vet. So they're gonna have to see one of the cats. So just take the one that has the urine issue in to get checked real quick, and then tell them that she's been, you know, having issues with peeing, and they could prescribe her that food. And you could buy it from there if you, as long as you have the prescription. You could buy it somewhere else that's cheaper if you don't want to buy it from the vet. Yeah. All right. So moving on, we have, you're welcome. Yeah, so when they do constant grooming, they're stressed out. Yeah, I noticed that with the women, with females in particular, if they over groom and to the point that they're balding, you know, they're taking off their furs, that they're overly stressed. All right, so we're gonna do Ruby. Ruby, I'm gonna pull a card for you. Oh, you have 3 boys? Oh, okay. Well, that's rare for boys to do that. So yeah, they might be very stressed out then. Because usually it's the girls that are like, you know. Usually the girls have problems. All right, Ruby, we got hope. Hope for you. So there's a rainbow right here, and there's a little fairy, and there's a sun over here, and then there's a dove right there, okay? So this one is about optimistic mindset, okay? Believing in that things are going to work out the way they're supposed to. Having an optimistic point of view regarding a situation in your life, maybe regarding, I don't know, a stressful situation that you're thinking, oh man, I have to work through this. So if you have a positive mindset, then things can happen quicker and easier for you, okay? Another thing is that positive change in the direction that you wanting to go, okay? So the only barriers that truly exist are the barriers that we create in our mind about our abilities to solve our issues, to confront people, to say what we need to say, to put ourselves out there, to make a living the way that we want, right? And our dream life, you know, following our dreams and things like that. The only thing that's getting in the way is us, right? Is ourselves. And so when we start to change our mindset about the circumstances that we are surrounded by, or the future that we want to create, you know, and stop being in fear of that, then we start to see the shifting happen, you know, when we start to be like, okay, I trust myself, that I have the ability to create the future that I want, that I have the capacity to allow change to happen, as well as that I have the mindset that's about the mindset of thriving over, you know, over neglectful energy or whatever, or over lack of energy, you know, lack of money, lack of energy, lack of love, lack of light, lack of, you know, things like that, the lack energy. So instead of that, you got to shift into the thriving energy, and that could be done in many different ways. It could be done through singing, through dancing, through creative measures, you know, affirmations. Every morning you wake up and just say, today is going to be a great day. Today I'm going to accomplish all the goals that I want. I'm going to start with this step, and then I'm going to do that. And then if I don't finish, it's okay, because tomorrow is a brand new day as well, you know. So that type of outlook is going to shift the way that you perceive things, as well as the relationships that you have with people. It might just be that there's difficult people in your life, and so when you say, today is going to be a good day, when I see this person, even though we've had this in the past, it's not going to happen anymore. I'm gonna realize when it's going that way, and I'm gonna stop it in its track. You know, I'm gonna stop it. Like, I'll give you an example. We all have intuition about people in our lives, right? Especially if we're close to someone and we know how they react, right? Like when they shift their moods and things like that, especially if they're moody. Oh my God. So we know exactly what to say to divert their attention, right? To switch their mindset into something more positive, so that we don't have to hear the continuous blaming, victim mentality, and all this crap, right? So even though they're probably still, you know, feeling like that, and it probably was like years ago that they've gone through this, and they've supposedly did all the work, but also we still hear it here once in a while, right? And so sometimes it's important for us to shift their mind, right? We shift our mindset about them, and then we can shift their mindset about themselves too, right? Because it's important for us to be mindful of these interactions, you know. For example, if you have a mom, if you have a mom that's constantly complaining about how shitty her life is, and she goes to you for that shoulder to cry on, and you're her child, and whenever you want to talk about your issues, she's like, no, let's, like, she switches the conversation to talk about her instead, or she compares her issues, saying that they're more significant or more grand than your own, right? That's fucked up to begin with. So the best thing to do is like, mom, at this time, I understand that you're going through a lot, but I am too. And I also require your support too. I'm here to support you, but I also require the support too. And if she gets offended or whatever, just be like, okay, then at this time, since you are getting upset, I'm just going to go ahead and leave or hang out. You know, that's just how you do it. You can't really sit there and hear it, you know, like, you know. Somebody raging at you, it's like, you don't have to stay there. You don't have to sit there and listen to it, you know, like, you don't have to. So that's what I have for you, Ruby. All right, Angel, I got one for you. Transformation. So this one is, first of all, there's butterflies in this picture. You can see the butterfly represents metamorphosis and transformation, changes, right? And particularly, you know, changing your look, right? So physical changes are happening with you. Physical changes through acts that you're doing, like choices that you're making. It could be being more self-aware of how you feel with your physical body. It could be that you're taking care of yourself more, that you're sleeping better, that you are taking time for yourself more, instead of, like, I don't know, staying up too late at night and being that shoulder to cry on for someone, and you're just like, oh, I'm tired. So it could be that you're taking the little steps to do that, where you're just like, okay, I gotta take care of me. I gotta take care of my health first in order for me to take care of other people or assist other people. So another thing is that what's happening is the transformation is happening in the spiritual level as well. When we have this, what a lot of people call a spiritual awakening, I've never had that, you guys, because my family's been been those witches or the crazy people for a very long time, so I kind of live in it. So I really don't think it's a spiritual awakening to begin with. I think it's just a remembering, like you're remembering, and you're actually feeling more comfortable with expressing it. That's my opinion. Because I don't really think that no one has ever had a spiritual experience or even, you know, that type of thing, right? Like, I don't believe that they've never had that issue, or when they were kids, they never had an imaginary friend, which was actually a ghost, like I did. Or, you know what I mean? Like, they've never had these things, or dreams and remember their dreams, and they're wacky and things like that. So I feel that when people say, oh, I just had an awakening, you know, it's like, no, dude, you were never asleep. You were never asleep. You just denied that side of you, and now you're not denying it, and you're not suppressing it anymore. Now you're accepting it. So so that's what I feel. That's what's happening with you too, Angel, is that you're no longer suppressing that side of yourself, and you're allowing yourself to flourish in that manner, and you're not hiding it. You know what I mean? Like, you're not embarrassed about sharing what your beliefs are anymore. And so that shines outwards, you know, that light shines outwards when you trust that what you're receiving, spiritually speaking, is correct, that you're on the right path. Everyone's on the right path, you guys. Like, when we think about, like, you're not on the right path, it's not that you're not on the right path, it's just that the ego kicks in. It's like, you're not on the right path. So it's like everyone is the path that they're supposed to be on, you know, because you guys have a unique vision and mission here, right? The soul needs something different than from what I'm doing, right? And so that's what I feel that's happening with you, Angel, is that you're expressing this difference, you know, you're expressing a different point of view, which is, I mean, it's not really different because you've already had it, you know. It's now that you're not hiding it anymore. And so that expression, it radiates from your soul, and it actually starts to change your cellular structure within your physical body, and it starts to incorporate that even more, a higher mindset, you know, taking care of your spiritual self as well as taking care of your physical self. And that's what's happening. It might be uncomfortable here and there, right? It might be, you might be fighting your ego here and there, but you're still going to thrive no matter what. All right, so that's what I have for you. Agreed. We just forget it's totally a self-love journey. Yeah, exactly. Ruby says, luckily I'm able to speak with my mom, but I definitely value the affected, as it applies quite well in the arena of connecting with certain people. On 100% on point as always. Ah, thank you, Ruby. Yeah, that is everything. Like, when I connect, when, for example, I'll give you guys an example. We're all family. We're all still family here because we all have similar experiences in our lives, right? At some point in time, we've had, I don't know, an argument with a parent of ours because we didn't see eye to eye, or somebody who represents that parent or who reminds us of that parent, right? Like for example, I didn't get along with my mom in my early years because we didn't see eye to eye, even though our chart is exactly the same, except for our, you know, our houses and well, actually, no, the houses is the same too. Never mind. I think it's the degrees that are different. She's a, you know, Sagittarius sun, Pisces moon, and Virgo rising, and so our houses are all the same. It's just the degrees, and whatever is conjunct and squaring and things like that is different. So anyway, we were like, pretty much like I was born to show her a different perspective, right? And so she didn't like that because always arguing with her. And she never wanted to hear it about my spiritual experiences when I was a kid, right? So I never felt comfortable telling her because she would freak out, and so I never sought comfort with her, you know. And so I would seek comfort with my aunts who were mediums and knew what was going on, and with my great aunt and with my grandma who were able to teach me how to deal with this shit properly, right? And console me, you know, and stuff like that. And so there's a lot of people in the world who might feel that way too with one of their parents, or maybe with their grandparents. Maybe they didn't have that connection that they wish they had with them, because they just didn't know how to deal with you, right? She didn't know how to deal with me. And so now we're good, you know. Now we're really connecting in the spiritual way, where she's tells me her stories, and I now understand why she was like that, where she was not accepting of this lifestyle because she was afraid, because she's had her own experiences that were kind of scary, and she didn't know how to deal with it, even though her family was super supportive. She's just like, fuck this, you know. And so that's what it was, and now I understand that, and now we're really good when we're really close, and now she actually asked me for a tarot reading and all this stuff, so it's pretty funny. And I gave her all these you know, like purification herbs as well as healing herbs and things like. She believes in that for sure. She's always used that, but now that I'm providing that for her, so I'm like, I feel good, you know, like she's actually listening to me. So that's what it is. It's like a lot of people, we have this cycle with a lot of people out there where some of us are going through similar situations within our families, where sometimes we feel neglected or rejected, not accepted, you know, and so we seek, you know, our soul family out in out there in the universe. And sometimes we have that effect where we find people who are just like the people that rejected us and didn't accept us, and we have to learn these lessons with them, right? So it's just like that. Thank you. Hi, Tara. You've been a great part of that transformation. Ari, so grateful for the space you hold. Thank you, Angel. Angel, mírala. Yeah. Hipocrita. No, just kidding. That means hypocrite. No, my mom's not. Yeah. It's so funny. You know what's funny about her? So she always went to psychics. She always went to mediums. She always went to healers, like when she was like, I remember that because I remember her taking us. Like anytime we went to Mexico, she always used to go to this healer, right? Or even in like near our house, there was this older man who was a healer, and she would always go with him, and he would look at me and he's just like smile at me and wink, and like because he knew I was gonna, do that, or I was really open to learning and stuff. And so he would never allow anybody to go into the sessions, healing sessions, unless he knew they had el don, which is the gift in Spanish, right? The gift, you have el don. That means like you're inherited. Healers know healers, right? And so, so I remember one time when I think I was like about 7 years old, and my mom and my sister were there. And I was so curious. I was looking at all his things, like all his herbs, like there he had hanging, and then he had like these little salves and stuff. And I was like, ooh, like I didn't want to touch them. I was just like looking at them, and I was talking to the herbs. Like a little kid, I was like, "Oh, who are you? What are you? What are you?" Like that. And he saw me and he winked at me, and then he brought my mom back, and he did his healing stuff, and then he did like a quick like what he calls is like a energy cleanse, and as well as kind of like what it does is it's like resets the nervous system, as well as releases stress and cleanses her energy. So what he does is he grabs the skin from the back and he pulls it, and it snaps, like it cracks, like it sounds like a crack. It's fucking weird. And so like when I was there, because like he let me go in to see that part of the healing, he's like you come in, in Spanish. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I go in there, and my mom's like right there, and he put like this salve all over her back and started massaging her back. And then he's like, oh my goodness, you're so stressed. And then he grabs her skin in the back, starting from the top, and pulls it, and then pulls it on the middle, and then on the bottom, like that. So it's like el cuero, right? That's what he calls it. It's like el cuero and stuff like that. And so that's what he did. And I saw it, and he's just like, see, your mom is really stressed. And I was like, yeah, I know. It was pretty funny. But yeah, it was pretty funny. I like seeing that. I was like exposed to all that stuff when I was a kid. So he knew right away that I was going to learn how to do all these things. And so that's why he allowed me to do it, because he didn't let my sister in, because he knew my sister was on a different mission. Like, you're somewhere else. Like, you're doing something else. But that's cool. But whatever. Okay. Blue flame. My mom went around telling everybody I was a witch, but she's the one going to psychic mediums, taking my stepdads. What? Oh my god. Yeah, it's funny. No, my mom was never closed off to that. She just didn't want to hear it. Like she didn't want to hear what's in her house, because her house was haunted too. She didn't want to hear anything. She didn't want to know, and I would tell her like, I see this. So anyway, let's go ahead and do two more readings. Let's see, how do I... on. Here we go. All right, your mom's a Virgo. I put someone in timeout. Sorry if you guys felt the weird energy coming in. You know, it's funny when people are like so disconnected and negative in their mindset that people like us seem like weird to them, right? Or we're, oh, you're like, and there's judgment behind their comments. So it's okay. I just got rid of it. Joshua Benjamin. It's okay. You'll get over it. You'll get over whatever's wrong with you, you know, whatever tragedy you're going through. It's okay. All right, so we're gonna do Joe Wilson. I'm gonna pull a card for you, okay, Joe? Oh, shoot, yeah, that's cool. In Gettysburg? Nice. That's amazing. That's cool, Blue Flame. All right, so here we go, Joe. Here you go. So we got moon energy, the moon cycles, the lunar cycles, connecting with the lunar cycles, the divine feminine. So this one in particular is about really connecting to how you feel during different phases of the moon, okay? Being mindful of that, like, how do you feel on the new moon? How do you feel during the waxing, during the full moon, during the waning moon? You know, how do you feel when these happen? And also, if you do get like the moon's your period, right? Because there's people, like, both men and women have a fluctuation of hormones at a certain time in the month. It's not just women, you know, it's both men and women do. Sometimes their men have low testosterone at a certain period of the month. It's like their period, right? And women, of course, with the period. So how do you, where is this, like, when is that happening? During what moon phase is that happening? Look for it, because it's important. Because, for example, if you are in alignment with the new moon, new beginnings, you know, things like that, and your moon cycle, your period, or your hormone, your testosterone levels go low, then that means you are in line with that cycle in particular. What does that moon represent to you? The energy of the new moon, right? And it represents new beginnings as well as darkness, you know, the dark side, about doing the work that you need to do in the shadows, right? Shadow work and things like that. And then you have the full moon is about banishing, it's about getting rid of energy that you don't need, that the shining the light into the darkness, where it's things, it's showing you things that need to be you need to get rid of. And so when is that happening, right? So that's exactly what they want you to know, is to make sure that you are connecting to those phases, make sure that you are aware of them and working with them, okay? Who says? Oh my god, I was going to comment about periods at this time, full moon. Yes. Okay, so one more. We have Tara. That's what happens with me too, Blue Flame. I was synced up and now I'm with the full moon. So it just means that you're just, whatever's going on in your life, that's how it's happening. New moon, new beginnings, manifesting your life, right? And then the full moon is about making sure that manifestation is growing and it's you know, it comes in. And then the waning is you make sure that you keep your mind positive about the manifestations, and so that it'll come in for the new moon cycle, that a new phase and whatever. But